Spook.
Yes.
Kane Corns has jumped on the Jack Ginnivan bandwagon.
What's the joke there?
Kane Corns. Welcome to the Collingwood Rant. I'm Sly.
And it's just another 4-point spook.
Spook, great
Yes.
win.
Was it?
Fantastic. I have been looking at social media. To beat a premiership contender like Gold Coast, a team who's sitting on 2 wins.
Put it into perspective, it was just a prelim.
Oh, okay. So, whoever would have thought that us on 3 wins could possibly beat an interstate team who's never played finals, who's currently sitting on 2 wins, playing at the MC. Who would have thought we could have won that?
You're not going to downplay this magnificent win, are you?
How could I possibly do that? The might of the Gold Coast Suns.
Well, they beat us last year. What more do you want?
Who didn't beat us last year?
This was a game of retribution.
Who didn't beat us last year? One team.
I think we...
Melbourne. No, typical Collingwood.
We even lost the intra-club last year.
What do you think about this fantastic win?
It was fantastic.
It was quite possibly the greatest.
Oh, look, ultimately, it's good to win. It's always good to win. It doesn't paper over some of the issues that were glaring standouts in the game, namely defence, the ruck. Forward line was all right.
All right, let's start with the ruck. Aiden Begg debuts and Darcy Cameron's throwing more ruck duties. What do you think of Aiden Begg's debut?
Despite the fact he only won 2 hit-outs, I thought he was generally pretty good. Very creative around the ground. A lot of good second effort work. I think he got a couple of clearances as well. Look, I think for a debut it wasn't too bad, except for the ruck work bit. But,
Why would you need that?
You were up against Wits. That was a massive ask.
Well,
Wits is probably your most premier tap ruckman going around at the
Well, at
moment.
one stage, they were 22 taps to advantage to 3.
And they lost the game. I mean, what's going on there? Normally, we dominate the hit-outs and lose the game.
No, we don't know the hit-outs. That's actually hits to advantage.
Oh, sorry, I had no idea what that term at the end
Yeah.
actually meant. I don't hear it all that often.
I was actually surprised they debuted Begg in this game, given he was playing against Wits, who's 7 foot tall, is a behemoth. I would have thought this is the game that you do play Cox in the ruck. You play height against height. You give Cox some license to try and play primarily as a ruckman. I didn't think this is the time to debut Begg, but what the fuck do I know?
No, and even when their debut was announced, I thought that Cameron was going to do the bulk of the ruck duties and Begg would be relief and maybe run around the forward line. I think Fly pre-match said the same thing, that he thought Cameron was going to be in the ruck. And
well, he's coaching
Begg
from
would
the
have
boundary
realised.
nowadays, so who knows what's going on in the box.
But I think he was... did he do the Pinocchio nose when he said that on the TV? I might have missed that bit. Maybe it was a masterstroke of deception.
Defence.
Yeah, the fence was around the ground.
Lack of defence.
No, it was terrible.
So every game this year, we've surrendered momentum shifts and allowed opposition to kick runs of goals. We've allowed them to go forward with ease. We've allowed them to find targets with ease. We have given up goals which have swung games around. I mean, I don't think we're that great a team, but I think we should probably... What are we, 4-3?
Yeah.
We could easily be 6-1 if there was some defence in that team. It's actually funny that was the one thing all the media experts are saying, well, they've already got the defence down. If he can bring in some attack, it'll be a good balance. But the defence is totally fucked.
We have mentioned this the last couple of weeks, though. It's at the moment, on the weekend, you really had a defensive team that was, as you said, the term loose. It was just a whole bunch of interceptors. I don't think anyone went on one-on-one. Casbolt must have some of the worst BO in the AFL because nobody was near him within 10 metres at the best of time.
No, I know people are going to complain about Jack Magden giving up 2 goals, and I thought both those were actually pretty unlucky. There was one where he was tackled really well, had one arm pinned, and the ball just sort of came loose. And the other one was he tackled his opponent, and he was just obstructed from seeing his opponent lost the ball, and he brought him down. If you're going to highlight things in defence, it's like maybe why is Howe 30 metres off Casbolt when he should be playing?
Well, that's double the distance that the Darcy Moore would have dreamt of being close enough to.
There's one stage where Moore, that I saw, and I might have had more often, where Moore was about 25 metres away from Chol, and Chol just got an uncontested possession at half forward.
I saw one possession where Moore was in the stands.
Well, these guys
eating a pie, if you don't mind.
These guys are meant to be defensive generals, so at least Magdalen will try and stand next to his player. So I don't know if they're just messing up the balance of that. But they're getting sucked up too far forward, and it's just opening up that defensive arc where anytime an opposition goes forward, they just find their players unmanned with such ridiculous ease, and then you feel what's happening at Collingwood too is once they get 1 or 2, you're not safe. And there's a few times they got to within like under 10 points, I think it was, and then we pulled away again. But it's like, they're not a good side. And you're trying to purport to be like a side on the rebuild, but with still some good senior experience. This should have never been in any question, and we let it sit in some question. Other thing is the midfield actually lacks some initiative, leadership. Whenever Pendlebury goes in there, it looks better. I don't think he had a great game by new standards, but like, he demands attention, so everyone sort of slips down in ranks. The Goey and Hoskinelli are obviously still struggling with gastro recovery. The Goey looked very listless. I'm surprised that they played both. Callum Brown tried, but was pretty wasteful the whole time. I thought Tyler Brown actually did some really nice things. He went in the pack. He showed some really nice touch. Quaynor played well. Josh Dacos played well. Nick Dacos has been quiet the last few weeks. I'd be surprised they give him a spell at some point. Jack Ginnivan, has he arrived as a footballer?
He's looking dangerous. So was it 7 goals? I mean, you put in perspective of the competition, but he's a creative goal kicker. He's drawing a lot of frees, and like that boundary run was incredible. The funny thing is, watching it, I thought, there's probably about one more step if he took that he would have been pinged for running too far. It just sort of felt like, as good as those moments were, you could see probably the umpire was just about to do this, but he went with a sense of occasion, I think, and that's great. And then if he can pull that sort of thing off, and he's only played 11 games now or something there. I think there's certainly a base there to build on. He's going to get a lot of attention, though, I think, certainly by the Tigers this week.
Well,
that'll be the test about how he responds to that close checking.
His big weakness is the small forwards, because you have him. McCreary doesn't get enough of the ball. He's great the way he ping-pongs around. He attacks, he's creative, but he just doesn't get enough of it. He, right now, is looking, and he's still very early in his career, but right now he's looking like he's holding on a spot until someone else takes it from him, unless he can start hitting the scoreboard a bit more.
I'd still keep investing in him, though.
Oh, look,
you look at that little tap down to Mio. I mean, I don't know whether that was...
I look like it was purposeful.
It was opportunistic as well, but it worked beautifully, and that just shows a lot of awareness of where you are and what your options are.
I'm really happy to put more time into him, but I said the same about Hoskinelli in 2018, and I got slammed down by people like turds. But I was saying he doesn't get enough of the ball, so you got to add that dimension to your game. So if you're not going to get your 1-2 every game, then you need to get 10, 15 possessions and set up 1 or 2. So he needs to add that to his game. Buckley said that during commentary one of the games a few weeks ago that they knew that what they were getting with him.
But his attack and his competitiveness does keep the ball locked in, and I think that's the attribute that's certainly going to keep him in the side for the next couple of weeks. If you're going to look that use that as a benchmark, that the low possession game, 1 or 2 goals is going to be good enough. I think he just offers a lot, and I'm more comfortable with him in the side. I think the 2 games he was out, we lost.
Yeah, I'm happy for him to play.
I think it all hinges on him now.
But he needs to
He's the one.
He needs to look at how he can get more of the ball and how he can contribute more with the ball in hand.
That'll come.
Okay, if you say so. Guy with champion since 2018, Brody Mychek.
Oh, he was phenomenal. He's been really, really good this year. Apart from that week that he was off sick with COVID. He could have been, though. He still could have been good in the lounge room.
He wasn't sick, he just had COVID protocols.
Oh, yeah. He's. I think there was an article that I saw today that I didn't read, saying he's the most underrated player in the AFL. We've only been saying that for about 4 years now. I think he's the most underrated player in the AFL.
Oh,
he's pulling down the big grabs. He's got presence. He's incapable of kicking 5 goals, but that'll come. He'll get there one day.
Maybe he'd have more capability if he didn't think he should snap from 40 metres out.
I can only assume that was a brain fart. or he just watches everyone else do it and thinks I can have a go. He's a dead-eyed dick that day with the
He's
drop
generally
punts.
pretty good. He missed on a little bit earlier than that.
But
So
he
that's
missed-
probably why I thought I'll go for that
Oh,
one.
just don't though.
I agree.
Stick with what you're good at. It was the same with that game a couple of weeks ago where he did the same thing. You don't think you learned from that? I mean, I don't think he'll do it again.
We'll see.
You'd hope not. But there's too much of that creeping into the game now. The snap around the body set shots.
Well, it's interesting. If one of these guys gets a shot after the siren, they can't do that because it's play on.
No, that's it.
So you're going to have to walk straight in and you're not getting that practice. I mean, the reality is guys like Lockett and Dunstall and all that, they would miss occasionally, then they just go back and reset and kick.
I mean,
These guys-
Dunstall, to his credit though, in the commentary, he ripped into that.
Dunstall reckons one of the best commentators. You can see why he was so influential in Hawthorn's rise years ago because he just cut through the bullshit. I mean, very similar to Lee Matthews. But I was just going to say, just because you miss one doesn't mean you then go back and try a snap instead. It's like you miss one, then go back and do the same kick, but this time put it fucking through. So that frustrates me that they're using this as a get out of jail free card. And the problem with that fucking hook kick is if they miss, then it's like, oh, well, it's a novelty kick. No, a shot like that, you're expecting your forward to nail 7 times out of 10. When using that hook kick, you're sort of going, oh, you'll get it maybe 3-4 times out of 10 from that distance, not close in. So that really frustrates me. But in terms of we get some nice run going attackingly, but when the ball comes back the other way, we seem to lose a little bit of composure. We seem to, especially when the other side gets a run on, we just seem to get frazzled a little bit. One of the interesting things this week was just, I didn't think anyone had a real standout game, whereas a few of the other games, I think players have stood up. The Brisbane loss, the goal was great. Pendle's great last quarter against Essendon.
Yep.
Josh Dacos was good, Lipinski was good. But I don't think anyone was dominant, elite. And I know that was a sort of a tendency at Richmond that they didn't have a lot of high possession getters when they were playing well, but they did have Dusty Martin there who was racking up best on grounds. He did win Brownlow, didn't he?
We'll probably find out about that this week.
Yeah, we'll get to that. So whatever this game plan is meant to spread the evenness or whatever, I still think you still need guys to stand up.
Oh, I think, but this comes back to that issue that we've talked about is really who your A grades in this side.
Oh, well, probably more of the goey.
And that's it. There's a vacuum, really, there's a lot of good, solid, we're talking A elites, but, there's probably good sort of sub-A's into high B type players. And I think when you've got so few to carry the load, then you have to distribute the workload. But I don't want to see this last forever. I'd like to see us address some of this stuff, or start addressing it at the end of the year in the draft.
Okay, this is something I want to address right now. How the fuck did we lose to West Coast?
That's going to be one of the great unsolved mysteries.
So,
I think Robert Stack's coming out of the grave to do an episode on it.
So just looking at their margins, they lost to Gold Coast by 27 points at home. They lost to
This
North,
is going to be a feel-good story, isn't it?
yeah, lost to North by 15 points away. Lost to Fremantle by 55 points home away. Sydney they lost to by 63 points at home. Port they lost to, Port's first win, they lost by 84 points. And they lost to Richmond by 109 points. There's one win in there. I fucking hate that some people are throwing out, they got a few players back that week. Who they get back? The fucking Harlem Globetrotters. There's no excuse for losing to a side that is obviously struggling that horrifically.
I think as every side employs this strategy, there's McGovern. Let's kick it that way.
Well, if you go to the last 5 games, they've lost by 109, 84, 63. They beat us and they lost by 55 points. It's like, which one's the outlier there, Now, just let me, before we sort of keep going on about this, you look at Essendon, who we just struggled to get over the line on Anzac Day. The week before, they lost to Fremantle by 48 points here. And then they lost to Bulldogs by 32 points, and Bulldogs took their foot off the pedal at the end. Essendon's also shit, and we struggled to really beat them. This is my biggest concern with this team so far, is there's several games where I thought we should just hammer the fuck out of this side and win by 8, 9, 10 goals, break their spirit. The way we're playing, we sort of always seem to keep teams in it. If we get a lead, it's like, oh, it's still a danger we'll lose it. We did it pretty much every week. 6 goals up against Geelong. We're up by 5 goals, I think, against
we
Kilda.
kicked 7 unanswered this week too. You're building a buffer to think that's probably not going to be enough, but you're then defending that buffer.
But we're not doing that. We're actually
we're being it's bungee jumping. We're up, down, up, down, up, down. But surely that's a sign of a developing side. You're not happy with that as a get out of jail?
Look, fuck no. And
Fuck no.
Fuck no.
Fuck no.
West Coast is shit. Look
Well,
at
that one's I think he says an outlier though. That's probably that's one of our
Gold
more
Coast is shit.
embarrassing,
Gold Coast
moments.
has got 2 games and people are on social media going, "Oh fuck, we should win the flag here. We beat Gold Coast on." They got 2 wins.
Well, haven't we won the flag?
Yeah, about 20 years ago. And you don't make excuses or don't over celebrate wins. Great we're a young developing side, but young developing sides can still fucking smash the shit out of shit sides.
Oh yeah, look,
And
I mean,
we have enough quality players there that we should be stable enough to fucking beat shit sides.
I think there's obviously a few that are just over celebrating, which is it's not like it's a Collingwood way by any stretch, but we'll be exposed soon enough.
We've been exposed against Geelong already.
No,
We've
I
been
mean, exposed
against
with some probably big impact losses.
Well, the next 6 weeks are pretty tough, but we'll get to that in a bit. I just think, look, it's great we're seeing highlights and people are going, oh, well, it's a developing team. And I reckon that's a cop-out. There's still a pretty experienced top end.
Well, it is. It's the 6th most experienced side
there you go.
at the moment.
And then
but that's experience in terms of games, not quality.
Yeah, but you look at the inexperienced side, which is Ginnivan, McCreary, if you want to count the 2 Browns in there, Henry when he's there, McRae and Poulter haven't played a game, and Nick Dacos. It's not that deep an inexperienced side. That's pretty much it. There's probably a couple others like Begg, who are coming in and out. Then you have guys like Pendle's side bottom to Goey, Adams, Moore, Howe, Quainer. I know he's still relatively experienced, but he's had a few seasons in the system. The forward line's sort of inexperienced because of all the injuries and shit like that. But it's not that inexperienced. It's not like we're sort of throwing out a side that's got 8 kids just spread all across the field and we're fucking up. So I reckon it's a bit of a cop-out. I don't mind if we run around going, oh, hang on, the forward line didn't click today because it's such an inexperienced forward line. The rest of the side's experienced enough that they should be doing better. And there should be more stability. I mean, that's just my biggest problem. Lose, but fucking give me some stability in the side. Any final thoughts in that game?
It was good to get the 4 points.
Oh, fuck, why'd you just go have a ticker tape parade and fucking throw some confetti on the players?
At least we stopped Richmond from winning 4 in a row.
The reserves won by 100 odd points.
Well, that's it. See, this is what happened in... what year did Matthews take over again? 86. We had all these future premiership players run around. This is exactly what's happening.
Yeah, but they're guys like Wiedering, not the Carlton one, Hustwaite, Harrison. Oh, Harrison's on the list, isn't he? I don't know who these people are.
No, but who did we beat? The might of the Coburg Lions? Yep. Who were they?
I don't know. 2-10-22 they kicked.
2-10-22.
Yep. And we won by 104 points.
Normally we kick 2-10-22.
No. On this occasion we kicked 134. I don't know if that adds up.
It's close enough.
Henry kicked 7 free, so you think he's knocking at the door?
Yeah, look, I think it was baffling he wasn't included this week, but he'll definitely come in this weekend.
Coxie, it's pretty much best on ground, dominating the ruck, kicked 3 goals, had about 16 kicks.
Well, Fly's implied that the Beg's going nowhere this week, so I think they'll stick with the same structure in the ruck. I don't think Cox is coming in ahead of Cameron, do you?
Cameron had a good game, so...
But then Cox usually sinks Richmond. You know that we stopped them from winning 4 in a row?
Oh, fuck me.
Did you know that? No. Would you like me to tell you about it?
What happened the week after?
The usual.
I blacked it out. Richmond had a really good win. Dustin Martin's hasn't played since 1964, but he'll be back this week.
You didn't see that coming, did you?
No, didn't see that coming at all.
Do you think he'll dominate for the week and then vanish for the rest of the season?
Who would you play on him? Greenwood did usually dominate him.
I think you just leave him unchecked, wouldn't you? He doesn't do any damage.
No.
He just racks up cheap possessions. Well, you know he's always going to hang off the back, and then run forward. Who can run with him? Lippy?
In terms of endurance, or if he's playing forward, I mean, I imagine he's going to play forward more because he hasn't played for so long.
Well, no, that's it. I mean, he hasn't. He only came back to training last week, didn't he?
Yeah.
He'd be underdone, surely.
Yeah.
I can't imagine that...
He'll kick more than 8.
With the headspace that he was in, he would have been down the park every 5 minutes, run around. So, yeah, I'd put Quaynor on him.
I'd play Jack Magden on him.
Oh, you get a lot of faith in Magden.
I just think
he's a notable goal kicker now. Did you know that?
what a goal that was.
Did you know we stopped Richmond from winning 4 in a row? Did you know that as well?
No, I didn't. I actually think Jack Magden has some similar traits to Levi Greenwood.
Was Magden involved in stopping Richmond from winning 4 in a row?
No, he wasn't. His number was.
Your heroes. They're not.
So
they're
what
not
do you
good
think?
Ones, are they?
What do you think of Richmond? Because everyone was sort of going, "Oh, they got one more shot in them for a flag," and they've really struggled this year. They smashed West Coast, but we've established West Coast is shit.
Well, the media is telling me they've got a lot of injuries and all their superstars are coming back this weekend. So they're a chance still to win the flag this year. Because the media say the same thing every year. I don't know whether you noticed that.
No.
They say the same thing every year.
Oh, you got to be right one year.
Just like we stopped Richmond from winning 4 in a row.
So what do you think our chances are this week?
I don't really rate them particularly high. I think Dusty will have a field day. He'll drag what he does best. He'll drag Richmond over the line. We're probably due for a mare, and I think it'll be this one.
It'll be interesting to see the way those game plans go against each other because it's really just going to be chaos.
Oh, and control. Yeah, well, Flo's got a lot of inside intel actually. Maybe I might change my assessment because he'll know every weakness of those players and he'll exploit it, won't he?
Well, you'd like to hope so, but I mean, Richmond's been up for 6 years. Surely you have a good idea what's going on there.
Are they due to win 4 of anything this week?
No,
because we can stop that, you know.
I don't think we're going to stop that. Changes.
Do we have it? Oh, so Maynard injured his finger, I believe. Finger injury at Collingwood. I mean, seriously.
So that'll be about 16 weeks.
They're incredibly rare.
Yeah.
Did he? I saw that there was footage of outside the hospital. Did he still have both limbs?
No.
That's some injury.
No.
He won't play, surely.
That'll be finished for the year.
Well, that'll be it. Will be a career-ending injury, won't it? That's probably next on the roster, isn't it? No, it'll be sore thumb or something. Unless he's hitchhiking to the ground, it shouldn't cause him any problems.
You wouldn't think so.
We used to have a bloke who used to play with a sore thumb once upon a time.
Who was that?
The old Darren something.
Oh, Malane.
Yeah, that's a long time ago for you younger listeners. No, what was the question?
How do you think we'll go?
How do I think we'll go? I didn't answer that. I said I think we'll get
Tip.
trounced. Collingwood by 18 points.
Okay, I'm going to go for Collingwood by 1 point.
1 point?
Yeah.
I don't think I could handle that kind of rejection.
Yeah.
I'm too old for stress. Do you think we might have a dominating game where we win by 11 goals?
Not unless we play Hawthorn. Final thoughts?
Look, I actually think it'll be an interesting tussle. It may actually end up being a bit of an arm wrestle. But it'll be. I think it'll be a very telling game. If I mention that every week, it's going to be a very telling game coming up. This one will be even more telling. There'll be pictures involved and a test at the end. But I think we might just lose it if we don't win.
Okay, I'll go for 1 point. All right.
What point would that be?
1 point win. So that's it from us. We'll see you next week. We missed.
There's a quick one this week.
Yeah.
We like it quick.
Later.